Lil Wayne didn't just drop an album, he launched a mission to remind the world who built this game. The Carter VI was meant to be a comeback, a celebration, and a warning shot to every rapper who came after him. But something felt off. The hype faded fast. Fans questioned the rollout, critics were divided, and then Kendrick Lamar stepped into the spotlight without saying a word. While Wayne was fighting for attention, Kendrick was dominating the moment in silence. Was it the wrong time, the wrong strategy, or something deeper that even Wayne didn't see coming? In this video, we're breaking down everything that went wrong, including behind-the-scenes stories, tour footage, industry reaction, and what sources close to the situation say really happened to Carter VI. Because this wasn't just a missed shot, it might have been the last one. The return was meant to reignite everything. From the start, Carter VI was built like a legacy play. It had the name, the nostalgia, and the weight of a rapper trying to reclaim the crown. Lil Wayne wasn't just putting out another album, he was calling it a statement. High-profile features, years of anticipation, and a carefully timed tour made this feel like the comeback everyone had been waiting for. Even his son, Cameron Carter, was featured, signaling a generational moment. But as the album dropped, reality didn't match the hype. The rollout felt chaotic. There was no unifying message, no cultural spark. Instead of domination, there was confusion. Instead of conversation, there was indifference. And behind the scenes, sources say even Wayne's own team started questioning whether this was the right time. The music wasn't bad, but the moment, it felt wrong. And Kendrick's silence made that contrast even louder. The rollout may have missed the moment. Lil Wayne's rollout for Carter VI was everywhere. Interviews, flashy visuals, a packed tour, and major collaborations. But for all the noise, the messaging felt off. There was no clear story, no signature moment fans could latch onto. It was Wayne doing everything, and yet somehow it didn't land. Sources close to the campaign said the internal team struggled to find a central narrative. Was this about legacy, reinvention, celebration? Instead, it felt like Wayne was rushing to remind everyone he still mattered without explaining why now. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar hadn't said a word. No interviews, no teasers, just one monumental Super Bowl performance that sent shockwaves through the culture. Wayne's team was hustling for headlines. Kendrick was becoming one, and in that contrast, Carter VI began to shrink. The louder Wayne got, the more the industry started leaning in another direction, and fast. The Super Bowl changed the conversation. Lil Wayne should have owned that Super Bowl moment. It was in his city, New Orleans. His legacy is tied to that culture, but when the halftime show lineup was announced, Wayne wasn't on it. Kendrick Lamar was, and that silence from the NFL, it stung. Sources close to Wayne say the snub broke him, even though he tried to play it cool publicly. Meanwhile, Kendrick didn't just perform, he delivered a masterclass in cultural power. Clean visuals, crisp storytelling, and no gimmicks. He didn't name names, he didn't need to. While Wayne was bouncing across 37 songs on tour, Kendrick gave the world one performance that said everything. Fans felt it, brands felt it, even Wayne felt it. And suddenly, the conversation around Carter VI shifted. It was no longer about Wayne's comeback. It was about Kendrick's quiet takeover and what that said about where the culture was going next. Kendrick's lyrics didn't say names, but said everything. Kendrick Lamar never dissed Lil Wayne directly, and that's what made it hit harder. On tracks like Whacked Out Murals, Kendrick dropped layered bars about old kings, shifting eras, and rappers clinging to past glories. No names, no beef, just razor-sharp poetry, and fans instantly connected the dots. The timing was too perfect. While Wayne was everywhere promoting Carter VI, Kendrick was in the background, writing verses that felt like quiet challenges. Sources familiar with Kendrick's process say he intentionally stays vague, not to avoid conflict, but to let the culture decide who he's talking about. That's power. Wayne's lyrics on Carter VI felt loose, sometimes playful, sometimes hungry, but rarely focused. Kendrick's felt surgical, so even without a direct shot, the message was clear. The game had moved, and Wayne, he was still swinging, but the rules had changed, and Kendrick was already rewriting them. When the fans made the call, this was the part no rollout could fix. The moment the fans turned the narrative themselves. Once Carter VI dropped, social media exploded with opinions. Some praised the energy, others weren't so kind. Comments rolled in, "It's not hitting like the old Wayne's. He's trying too hard. Kendrick would never." It wasn't just comparison, it was public judgment, and it spread fast. Twitter threads, reaction videos, meme pages, they all started framing Carter VI as a missed shot. And Kendrick, his name kept trending even when he wasn't doing anything. That contrast stuck. Wayne was doing everything, and yet he wasn't the one fans were talking about. Even die-hard Wayne fans started asking hard questions. Did he rush it? Was this the wrong time? Was he chasing something that Kendrick already owned? Whatever the answer, it was clear. The culture had moved on, and Wayne was chasing shadows. The rollout worked against him. Wayne didn't just release Carter VI, he pushed it like his legacy depended on it. Multiple interviews, feature-heavy teasers, and a non-stop tour schedule gave it the feel of a high-stakes campaign. But instead of building anticipation, the rollout started to feel exhausting. There was no clear narrative, no central moment fans could anchor to, just wave after wave of appearances. One source close to the tour said the entire strategy was built on noise, not story. And that's where things broke. While Wayne was everywhere, Kendrick was nowhere. And yet every move he made hit harder. The minimalism of Kendrick's strategy made Wayne's promo blitz look scattered by comparison. Instead of commanding the culture, Wayne looked like he was chasing it. And once fans started tuning out, even the most dedicated marketing couldn't force the moment back. The question now wasn't about the music, it was about the misfire. Then, the industry quietly picked a side. While fans were still debating Carter VI, the industry had already made its move, quietly. Sources close to major brand partnerships say Wayne's album rollout was viewed as nostalgia first, while Kendrick was seen as culturally current. And that mattered. Behind the scenes, Kendrick was being tapped for endorsements, museum partnerships, and curated events. He was being positioned. Wayne, meanwhile, was left carrying the weight of his own comeback. His team tried to line up press and playlisting, but the momentum just wasn't sticking. X were seeing it too. The metrics were solid, but not seismic. One insider even described it as respectful underperformance. No scandal, no drama, just quiet disappointment. And as the calls for Kendrick continued to grow, Wayne's campaign started to feel like it was aging in real time. The culture had made its move, and so had the business world, and Wayne was left standing alone. Kendrick let the culture do the work, and the wildest part, he didn't lift a finger. He didn't tweet, didn't respond, didn't even acknowledge Carter VI. And that silence, it became a strategy. While Wayne pushed clips, interviews, and tour highlights, Kendrick let everyone else do the heavy lifting. Influencers made TikToks praising Kendrick's Super Bowl moment. Hip-hop channels compared his verses to Wayne's current flow. And fans kept bringing Kendrick's name into every Carter VI discussion, even without a new project from him. One music journalist described it as passive dominance. Kendrick became the standard, not by force, but by stillness. The contrast was brutal. Wayne was trying to force a moment, Kendrick was letting the culture hand it to him. And once fans start creating your narrative for you, it's over. That's when Carter VI stopped being the conversation and started being the comparison, and no amount of promo could flip that script. Then, Wayne accidentally gave Kendrick the crown. In one of the most unexpected moments of this whole saga, Lil Wayne gave Kendrick Lamar a compliment that stopped fans cold. During an interview, Wayne referred to Kendrick as one of the greatest to ever do it. And while the intent was respect, the timing made it feel like a quiet surrender. Sources familiar with that interview say it wasn't scripted or strategic, just a real moment of honesty. But to fans already feeling the cultural shift, it landed like a torch being passed. It echoed across Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. People clipped it, captioned it, and framed it as confirmation. Kendrick wasn't just rising, he'd already arrived. And Wayne, he just co-signed it. The irony is painful. In trying to uplift another legend, Wayne may have unintentionally undercut his own comeback. And from that moment on, Carter VI didn't feel like a power move. It felt like a farewell. Carter VI wasn't a flop, it just came too late. Carter VI didn't crash and burn. It wasn't a disaster, but it wasn't a victory either. It existed somewhere in the middle, a well-produced album by a legend trying to remind the world he still mattered, but the culture had already moved on. Kendrick's silent grip on the moment, the industry's quiet pivot, and the fans' growing hunger for evolution all collided at once. And Carter VI, despite its effort, simply couldn't compete with that shift. Sources close to the campaign said the energy was there, but the timing wasn't. Wayne didn't fail. He just arrived at a party that Kendrick was already hosting, and once that dynamic was set, the outcome was inevitable. This wasn't the comeback Wayne hoped for, but it became something else, a moment of realization, not about talent, but about timing. And in this era, the loudest voice doesn't always win, the right one does. Lil Wayne is still one of the greatest to ever touch a mic, but even legends can miss the moment, not because they've lost their gift, but because the game around them has changed. Carter VI wasn't just about music. It was a test of timing, culture, and quiet competition. And Kendrick Lamar, he passed that test without saying a single word. That's what made this collapse so fascinating. It wasn't loud, it wasn't messy, it just happened. Silently, strategically, completely. If you felt that shift or saw it coming, drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Wayne's comeback ever going to work, or was Kendrick too far ahead? Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives, culture breakdowns, and untold stories from hip-hop's biggest moments. We're just getting started.